Our next lesson here, we're going into airworthiness as far as aircraft airworthiness, whether you're renting an airplane, you own an airplane, and the regulations that concern airworthiness. As PIC, you are responsible to have an appropriate and current airworthiness certificate in the aircraft, as outlined in 14 CFR 91.203A1. To continue on with the airworthiness regulations outlined in 91.403 General, the owner or operator of an aircraft is primarily responsible for maintaining that aircraft in an airworthy condition, including compliance with Part 39 of this chapter. No person may perform maintenance, preventative maintenance, or alterations on the aircraft other than as prescribed in this subpart, and other applicable regulations include Part 43 of this chapter. 91.409 Inspections. Except as provided in paragraph C of this section, no person may operate an aircraft unless, within the preceding 12 calendar months, it has had an annual inspection in accordance with Part 43 of this chapter and has been approved for return to service by a person authorized by 43.7 of this chapter, or an inspection for the issuance of an airworthiness certificate in accordance with Part 21 of this chapter. No inspection performed under paragraph B of this section may be substituted for any inspection required by this paragraph unless it is performed by a person authorized to perform annual inspections and is entered as an annual inspection in the required maintenance records. Part B, except as provided in paragraph C of this section, no person may operate an aircraft carrying any person other than a crew member for hire, and or person may give flight instructions for hire in an aircraft which that person provides unless within the preceding 100 hours of time in service the aircraft has received an annual or 100-hour inspection and has been approved for return to service in accordance with Part 43 of this chapter, or has received an inspection for the issuance of an airworthiness certificate in accordance with Part 21 of this chapter. The 100-hour limitation may be exceeded by not more than 10 hours while en route to reach a place where the inspection can be done. The excess time used to reach the place where the inspection can be done must be included in computing the next 100 hours of time in service. Part 91.413 ATC transponder tests and inspections. No person may use an ATC transponder that is specified in 91.215A or 121.345C or 135.143C of this chapter unless within the preceding 24 calendar months the ATC transponder has been tested and inspected and found to comply with Appendix F of Part 43 of this chapter. 91.417 Maintenance records, except for work performed in accordance with 91.411 and 91.413. Each registered owner or operator shall keep the following records for the period specified in paragraph B of this section: records of the maintenance, preventative maintenance, and alteration, and records of the 100-hour, annual, progressive, and other required or approved inspections as appropriate for each aircraft, including the airframe and each engine, propeller, rotor, and appliance of an aircraft. The records must include a description or reference to data acceptable to the administrator of the work performed and the date of completion of the work performed, and the signature and certificate number of the person approving the aircraft for return to service. Records containing the following information: the total time in service of the airframe, each engine, each propeller, and each rotor. The current status of life-limited parts of each airframe, engine, propeller, rotor, and appliance. The time since last overhaul of all items installed on the aircraft which are required to be overhauled on a specified time basis. The current inspection status of the aircraft, including the time since the last inspection required by the inspection program under which the aircraft and its appliances are maintained, the current status of applicable airworthiness directives AD and safety directives including for each, the method of compliance, the AD or safety directive number and revision date. If the AD or safety directive involves recurrent action, the time and date when the next action is required. Copies of these forms prescribed by 41 or 43.9D of this chapter for each major air alteration to the airframe and currently installed engines, rotors, propellers, and appliances. That concludes today's lesson. We'll see you back for the next lesson.